Now, your forecast first. Sponsored by OSF Healthcare Illinois Neurological Institute. Expert neurological care close to home.
Good evening. I'm your local weather authority, Chief Meteorologist Chris Yates. Beautiful weather. Temperatures have reached the 60s and upper 50s. Currently in the Twin Cities, 59 degrees. Nice view on our uptown normal sundown exterior sky cam. Temps in the low 60s from Lake into Peoria, back to the west, 63 in Kewanee, Galesburg, and Macomb. Through the rest of this evening, clouds continue to increase. We'll get a chance for some rain showers, maybe a few thunderstorms developing after 10 o'clock. More rainy weather on the horizon. We'll break down the full forecast coming up. WMBD News at 5 starts now.
Coming up, first responder fees in Peoria are off the table for now. How the department is responding to the council's vote. Also, Special Olympics is in jeopardy after the Secretary of Education submitted a proposal to cut funds, the effect it could have on local businesses. And the Peoria Election Commission weighs in on the importance of local elections. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Lauren Langer. Illinois residents will be met with new requirements at the airport. Secretary of State Jesse White just announced the ID change this afternoon. DeLon Dillard joins us in the studio with what you need to know. DeLon.
Residents traveling by air or entering federal facilities like military bases will be affected by this. So starting October 1st of next year, Illinois joins many other states rolling out these new licenses. Calling it a real ID, as you can see on your screen, it will have a star in the corner to designate the difference. Leaders say this is a federal mandate that will make air traveling much more safer. So bottom line, if you don't have a passport but you travel by air or enter federal buildings, you will need this. But if you have a passport and you are traveling by air pretty often, you can keep your regular ID, but you will have to show that passport at TSA.
It's a choice that they have to make. It's up to them. If they want the new card, then they have to do all that is required. A lot of times people can use their passport and never, ever have to come into the Secretary of State's office to get this documentation with the star on it.
Now, on top of that, applying for this real ID will require several forms of identification, and they tell me that the application process for this is a bit longer, so we will have all of this information, everything I should say that you need to know on our website, ciproud.com. And again, residents will have plenty of time as this mandate will not be enforced until October 1st of next year, Lauren.
All right, DeLon, pretty interesting. It sounds like they're giving people the choice, though. Well, the Peoria City Council voted 6-5 to table discussions about billing non-Peoria residents for extra services provided by the Peoria Fire Department. Rebecca Brumfield tells us how the fire chief supports the decision. Rebecca.
Yeah, Lauren, we first told you about this billable option just last month. Now, here's some information to give you a refresher on what this actually means. If the fire department provides services like car and water rescues or vehicle fires, it costs $687 an hour. Extraction services are just under $1,500. A proposal discussed by the council would have non-Peoria residents billed for those services. This effort was to help save the department from losing out on those costs. Now, the Peoria City Council decided Tuesday to table the discussion until further notice, and this comes after a decision to avoid further reduction in fire employees.
We're happy with the decision to table it and not have to find the cuts from the fire department. When it comes time to cutting the fire department again, we'll be the first ones to bring it back up. And again, it's not to be a bad neighbor. It's not to do anything. It's to try to recoup some of these expensive costs of these expensive machines.
Now, Chief Olahai says they're trying to be sensitive to everybody, but things do cost money. And Lauren, he continues on to say that if the city isn't looking for them to make those cuts, well, they won't suggest this billing option.
Rebecca, thank you. An Illinois lawmaker has created a bill that aims to address the bullying problem in Illinois schools. Matt Sheehan spoke with State Representative John Cabello about where this bill came from and how it'll be used by students. Matt.
Yeah, that's right, Lauren. Cabello's bill would allow school-aged children under 18 to call the statewide toll-free child abuse hotline. The Department of Children and Family Services would answer the lines and walk callers through how to handle the situation and give the anonymous report to the superintendent or administrator of the school. Cabello says if the situation is serious enough, the hotline will also contact local authorities. Currently, the bill is sitting on the Illinois House floor waiting to be called to the Senate.
We have school kids that still sometimes have an avenue of letting folks know what is going on. So we want to give an avenue for these kids to be able to let us know what's going on so that we can try to stop it as soon as possible.
And Cabello says if it does get brought up and passes the House, that State Senator Tom Cullerton would sponsor the bill. The Dunlap School District has an anonymous bullying hotline, and Dunlap High School Principal Scott Adrian says the hotline has helped, but that usually students and staff are reporting bullying in person. Lauren.
Matt, thank you. Well, U.S. Education Secretary Betsy DeVos is receiving backlash from some lawmakers after proposing cuts to funding from a nonprofit that benefits people with disabilities. Rosario Dominguez joins us in the studio to explain how Central Illinoisans are responding to this. Rosario.
Lauren, although there's controversy on whether the federal government should give funding to Special Olympics, there are actually local businesses making sure that athletes receive support.
Education Secretary Betsy DeVos received pushback from House Democrats after she proposed cutting federal funding for Special Olympics at Tuesday's budget hearing. DeVos responded by saying Special Olympics raises $100 million a year, and, quote, "There are dozens of worthy nonprofits that support students and adults with disabilities that don't get a dime of federal grant money. But given our current budget realities, the federal government cannot fund every worthy program, particularly ones that enjoy robust support from private donations." But Special Olympics has support from local businesses like Portillo's in Normal. The restaurant is donating a percentage of proceeds from March online orders to the organization.
And Special Olympics has always been a part of Bloomington Normal, headquartered right here. And I think that it kind of came about because we've done some fundraisers with them in the past, and because they're so well known in this community, it was a natural sort of partnership for us.
Leaders say these fundraisers are essential to help keep the organization going.
Special Olympics is completely driven by donations and funding through both private and public resources. So any sort of contributions that anyone can make obviously helps to help us put on great events for the athletes that they're so deserving of.
Local athletes hope the organization can continue to impact Central Illinois.
It helps me grow as a person, and I try to be a leader to other athletes that underneath younger than me, and I just want to be a role model for them.
And DeVos also added to her response about the critiques that she believes in the mission statement and actually has personally contributed to the funding. Lauren.
Rosario, thank you. And it's nice to see local businesses stepping up. Well, after the highest recorded turnout in the at-large Peoria City Council primaries, early voting for the April 2nd general election has seen a tremendous increase since 2017. The Peoria Election Commission says the idea of voting early is really starting to catch on, and vote-by-mail ballots have seen an increase as well. Although this election is an odd-year election, the Election Commission says it is extremely important.
Races that are on the ballot in odd-year elections really directly affect our day-to-day lives. So if you think about your property tax bill, you are voting for those school board members, those city council members, those village trustees. You're voting for those people that make those decisions based on your property taxes.
If you haven't early voted and are unsure of when and where to go, we have the Election Commission's address and hours over on our website, ciproud.com. Coming up, women making less than men, what a new study is saying about the gender pay gap. And the most common type of cancer, the preventative measures you can take to protect yourself.
It's been an absolutely beautiful day. A lot of sunshine now being replaced by partly to mostly cloudy skies. Check out this time lapse from our Paradise Hotel and Casino sky cam. High clouds are moving in, often a sign of some changes to come. We'll tell you what those changes are with your full forecast coming up next.
You're watching WMBD News, Central Illinois Proud, with Lauren Langer and Chief Meteorologist Chris Yates with your local weather authority forecast. This is WMBD News at 5.